Good morning. It's November 14th, and we are getting our first decent snow. It's not too heavy, but it's enough to kind of crud up the roads a little bit. And that makes me want to do a test and kind of get a baseline for this winter of FSD driving in snowy conditions. Last year, it seemed like we saw a little bit of improvement through the year. I'm still on version 69.2, and 3 is out there. I don't have it yet, but it sounds like we're going to single stack beta pretty soon. So before that hits, and before we get through this winter, I want this to be a baseline test. We'll do kind of the same loop that I'll repeat with newer versions. Here's hoping it's capable and gets better as we go. I also want to remind you that if you're going to do testing like this, especially in bad weather, that you need to be extra vigilant, keep your hands on the wheel, and be ready to take control the second you think it's not doing something right. Be careful, and let's get started. All right, the roads are a little slick. We can see we're behind a snowplow right now, but it doesn't really have its blade down. I think it's just doing salting work. The roads are a little slick, just turning out of my neighborhood. But it seems like mostly wet. So slowing down early here, which is good. Even slow down a hair more. We can go. It's looking around the plow. That was odd, but it did it. Nothing wrong with that, just strange to be watching a computer do that close to a plow blade, but it was stopped. Everything was fine and safe. And obviously, a reminder on this, I can take over at any time, hit the brake, take control on the steering wheel, turn beta off with the stalk. It's very easy to take control again. And it's still not perfect, so chances are I will have to do that at some point during this drive. Nice slow acceleration. A little slow for my taste, but given the conditions and not knowing how it is, that's okay. You can see the humans are more confident than Beta is right now, but that's okay. I've got my daughter's toys rattling in the back seat. Sorry about that if you can hear it. It should be getting over. Okay, it did. And it can just go right through this, but it's going. I'm going to give it a little accelerator. Just a tap to let it know it's okay. One of the things I'm really looking forward to in beta coming up, I gotta roll the speed limit up here. Did get over, I took over there. So as I was saying, one of the things I'm really looking forward to in beta version 11, the single stack, is merging control to get better. When it's going from side streets or merging on the interstate, I'm going to hit some accelerator here. Again, just somebody's coming up the off the interstate and onto the road, and I want to make sure I'm giving semis plenty of space. And that's really most of my disengagements or interventions with things, are just making it more comfortable for other road users. So again, I just gave it a little accelerator to give room for that semi that was merging. I don't know if you can see that. And because it's using the cameras to drive, if you can see the windshield, my view is fairly snowed up, fairly wet. I would do another windshield wipe there for my view, but the cameras are up high where there's less splatter, and so it's seeing better than I'm able to. But as I was saying, like that's my big hope for the next version, the full stack FSD, is that it has better merging behavior, both in understanding its need to merge onto a freeway and the need for others who are exiting a highway to merge into the slower traffic you're a part of, and being more aware of that kind of thing. Right now it's switching between the FSD stack for city streets and then the Navigate on Autopilot system for the highways. And on some of the on-ramps, I've just had a lot of takeovers where it's just not handling that very well. And I'm looking forward to that being solved, or at least I'd like to see some progress on that being solved, even if it's not right away with this first version. And see, there is quite a bit of road spray. We should be taking a right here. And we are. We'll see how this exit ramp is. A little slippery there, but it handled it. The braking system handled that slick part really well. Just decelerated enough. So far, handling this stuff pretty much exactly how I would. Appropriately slowing down. That all felt very comfortable. And I'm going to cut out a little part there about a minute ago. I was trying to grab a toy from the back seat that was rattling, and I had my hand on the wheel and just moved it too much, and so I took it out, dumped it out of beta for a second, but that was all on me. So here again, we're having a slow acceleration, which, you know, the people behind me aren't crazy about, but this is a safe way for beta to behave. I'm really happy with how cautious it's being. Seems to still be finding the curbs pretty well, despite them being fairly obscured. We'll see how this turn lane does. Nice early slowdown as we're merging here. A little hot for my tastes. Let's see, we're getting into the nearby turn lane. I was very confident. Good. And now it's going to want to turn into target. We're not going to do that, so I'll cancel this. So this just takes us through another windy road I've tested a few times. And last winter with snow, it was having a lot of lane confusion. That was really good slowing down for this car that pulled out. I was wondering how it would handle that, and I'm very happy with that. Nice. It just backed off a little bit as things got slipperier and that car slowed down more. So that was perfect, what I'd like to see. And I do still have both these cars are turning and it's going, so that's good and appropriate. Now here, you can see there's barely we're sliding sideways a little bit. It did. Okay, there it did slide out and asked me to take over. It started correcting, but I think we got a little too sideways for what it was happy with, which is, at this point, tell me to take over. I'm happy with that, you know. We do a flashing yellow, so I'm going to give it a little accelerator. Let it know it's okay. So on that takeover back there, it was seeing the center line, but the turn lane was obscured, and so it was thinking it needed to go closer to the center line, the yellow line. And when it got over there, it started to slide a little bit. No one was around us, there was no danger. So I did wait until it did kick off, but we got that, you know, loud alert and the warning on the screen to let me know I should take over. Here's another friendly Model Y. Wonder if they're testing beta. Okay, we are going slow here. Let's see, there's a semi or a plow. Alright, there's a plow right behind us now. So I'm going to be a little more. Okay, we're sliding a little bit. We need to get over to the left a hair more. I'm going to back down the speed just a little more. Taking over there just because we're close to that guy. I'm going to back down the speed to the speed limit, turn around again. Back down to 45. Plow coming here. That was okay. You can feel it adjusting as the road is slippery underneath. And so you can feel the traction control kind of switching things around to stay true. Doing a little hunting for the lanes. I'm going to back the following distance. I generally keep it at 2, but just in case we want to leave a little more space. Okay, that took it out. Yeah, we're still weaving a little bit here. And that's something I hope that will be fixed throughout this winter, is when there's a clear open path that people are following, especially with 2 lead cars here, that, you know, in this scenario, just follow them. I suppose long term that's not a solution, but is a turn lane up here. I would be slowing down more. Okay, now it is. Again, I wouldn't come into that intersection that hot because we are sliding. Yep, we're sliding now. And again, no, there was no cross traffic, no danger, but that's something it's going to have to learn. So we are near the zoo now. I'm going to put in a new destination. And the reason when I turn beta on that it goes to a higher speed than the speed limit generally is because I have an offset set and you can manually control that. But generally, especially in the summertime, people are doing 5 miles over the speed limit and you want to stay with the speed of traffic. So that's a user setting, not something the car is defaulting to that because of my user setting. We should be getting over into the left lane. I'm assuming it's going to want to turn here. Or maybe it won't. Well, it seems happy going straight. Okay, so this is an unexpected route, but we'll see what it has in mind. Nice slowing down here. It's nice and gentle. Very natural feeling. Pretty close to what I'd do. Had a little bit of slide and it just slowed down and got out of it and was really nice there. Didn't disrupt people behind me too badly. We do have the person in front of us taking it pretty easy too. I was afraid the roads would be too good by now. And we wouldn't get any interesting footage, but that's not the case. Nice slowdown into this stoplight. Happy with that. I've got the wipers on auto, but I've been doing additional wiper presses. After we get to this next destination, I think I'm going to go try to find a roundabout. And I won't film the drive out there because it's kind of a long way to get to the roundabouts, but I think we'll get some interesting results out there. Just a tiny bit of weaving there. Yeah, it'd be slowing down already. Okay, it's slowing down. Not as quick as I'd like, not as quick as I'd like. It's going to be fine, but I would have tapped the brakes earlier. It was perfectly fine, but Again, a little slow acceleration. I'm sure the people in front of me aren't, or behind me aren't crazy about that, but it is good and appropriate. This bridge is pretty covered over. I've got my hand on the wheel, if you can't see it. Making sure we can't get too out of bounds. Here's another Model Y. Coming up to another stop, I would be slowing again a little earlier. Just move the following distance back. I'm not sure how much the following distance matters on city streets. That would be interesting to know. That might just be a bigger feature for Navigate on Autopilot on the freeway. Nice slowing here. That was comfortable. Really surprised it's having us go this way, but it's interesting, and there's more action to see this way as far as intersections and things. So. Here again, gentle acceleration. I'd probably go a little heavier. A little sideways on the bridge there. It corrected it. I didn't have to take over, but we did get a little bit of shift. This corner is always a little dicey. Doesn't seem too slick today, that's good. I forgot to hit the Navigate to button, so it was just taking me back home. That explains the route, but we're gonna... A tough turn. I hope we're not gonna slide through it. A little bit. Okay, I wanted to take over and it did bump us out. But again, that's okay. If it's saying take over, I know to take over. I mean, I was watching to take over anyway, but stopped way late for that. Stop sign. Report that. Another one worse. Feel the anti-lock brakes really locking up there, or pulsing there. Well, this isn't at all how the path I thought we'd be going, but it's good to get a little neighborhood drive in here too. Obviously the plow has not been down here yet, and so I would be going a hair slower just to, but I did have the speed limit up. Hitting some clods there, and again, there's a lot of fast cross traffic. This is that faster road we were on just a minute ago, and I would have been approaching that a little slower. But we were fine. Coming out of here, good. A little confusion with the truck behind us. We were going to get into this lane, and then it was canceling it as the other guy got in behind us. Time to take over. And that's another big element of FSD, is dealing with the human communication and understanding what other road users are expecting. We've got another blue Model Y behind us. And again, these are fine, but I would be approaching them a little slower. Wow, I would not have. And it decided it wasn't going to go, then it was going to go. That wasn't great. I would have accelerated there through the yellow in slippery conditions. Rather than applying the brakes to stop. And it did do the stop, and then decided, oh no, I can make it, but it was already red by then, so bad decision there. And that was fine. Oh no. We've got an issue with the refresh rate of some of these stop signs, but it's reading them as blinking red. Obviously that's not right. Report that one too. See what response. Where are we now? Go just here's larger because we have a place setting. Here again, I would have slowed down sooner. It was okay. And then now it's taking a while to speed up, so. More Teslas on the road. Now is the good time to get over to the right. Change lanes. It likes to do this late even when there's big openings. I'm guessing at about 0.5 miles it's going to do that. Yep. Which again, there's still plenty of time, plenty of space, but I've noticed sometimes it will pass up a perfect opportunity and then decide it wants to change lanes after that window is closed. But it's all part of the learning. We're going to follow this Model 3. Now this road is tricky. The lanes shift. There has been construction here. Really, it should be in the left lane now. This is a turn lane, but it's going to go straight through. Gotta go. I gave it a little accelerator because it should have been going and the other person was waiting for us to go, but I think the car was just being a little cautious. But again, that's that interacting with other humans. You gotta sometimes just make a decision, and we had the right of way, so it just should have gone. Okay, so here we are at this park. Let's see if it'll take us in there. Not too bad. I'd be going a little slower, We're gonna slide through it. Yeah. Yeah. Slid through that, so needs to learn to decelerate a little more. Looks like we lost our dash cam. So I'm going to pause here. We're going to go over by some roundabouts, and I'll turn the cameras back on over there. And we got a roundabout or two coming up here pretty quick. So we'll see how it handles these. Last couple of betas for me, roundabouts have been pretty good. Much better than earlier in the year. So we'll see if there's some snow covering, if that's going to affect things, but we're going to go straight through this one. Wrong lane. So, again. Well, I wanted to use the turn-only lane, but it otherwise was behaving all right. Went through it once I got it back on. Yeah, that was the only one. So we will cancel that, turn up here, and then go back through again one more time. Okay, need to stay on the left side here to go straight through. Good. Okay, waiting. That's okay. There's a car coming through. Now we should be going. I hit the accelerator there just because there's people behind us. So it needed an accelerator tap, but it did stop appropriately and was just waiting a little bit too long. But again, I'm okay with things being a little cautious and having to give it a little nudge every now and again. There, it handled that yellow light perfectly. So about a couple hours of driving there, a few takeovers, a few slides, but in general, I'd say it's much better than when I first tried it last fall, and handling some of those situations better. Still not perfect, you still need to be vigilant, still need to have your hands on the wheel, but this is the baseline test for this fall. We'll see with the next update and then subsequent updates how this improves over the winter. This is a product in development, so having realistic expectations, especially in inclement weather, is important, and again, being ready to take over if you need to. One other quick thing I wanted to cover was that people have a lot of concerns about cameras getting covered in slush and snow. So I grabbed a couple shots of the rear camera and the side repeater cameras to show that they weren't covered at all. I know we have much snowier days ahead, but just wanted to share that. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to drive safely in these snowy conditions. I'll catch you later. Thanks.